Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of Life Outbound. I wanted to do an introduction to this video because it's a little bit different than the other videos that we've done so far. What we're going to be doing this week is taking a look at kind of all the things that go around in the background of owning a boat. It's how much things cost, different projects that are going to be happening and why those projects need to happen, looking into the future, is it really affordable to own a boat, and really answering all of those questions and talking in detail about those line item by line item. And so if that's interesting to you, keep watching, and if not, no worries. Pause the video now and we'll catch up with you in the next video. So I'm in South Haven, about to drive into the boatyard. And when I left Kalamazoo, it was beautiful and it was sunny and awesome. And now I just got a couple raindrops on the windshield. So I'm gonna get out of the car here, and I just got to the boat, and plug in the extension cord and see how far I get. And if it just starts downpouring, I'll stop and I'll go home. All right, so we're good to go. Yeah, so see you in a few. Alright, so I'm going to make this quick because it actually is raining pretty good, but despite that, it did get a lot done. So the entire starboard side of the boat is now finished, and I actually even started on the other side, on the port side of the boat. So I would say now the sanding at least is about 55% done, and I'm hoping that if we get, I might ask a couple more friends to come out here who come out on the boat a lot in the summer and just say, hey, look, like, don't worry about paying for diesel, don't worry about bringing like drinks or food or whatever it is, just come out here and help me sand the rest of this boat. I think if we get about 3 people going on it, we could get it done in about 2 more sessions. This is the port side of the boat. I've started sanding off the bow here, and I thought it was going to be really difficult and a challenge to just work alone, but I actually found it pretty therapeutic. It was like, just listening to music, grinding away. I didn't even notice it just started raining harder until water started dripping through my goggles. It's not been too bad, and standing underneath the boat, like right here, the boat kind of blocks a lot of the water from falling on you. But I think it is about time to call it a day here and wrap things up. So this week I started to get a little bit nervous because it's Wednesday. On Wednesday evening, I try and have all of the footage for the entire week on my phone, which is what I shoot most of this stuff with, and then I try and have it compressed by the end of the night and on my computer, so that on Thursday I can start editing, because Friday I try and have it all up on YouTube for you guys to watch. And I was getting kind of nervous this week because, well, I've only really been out to the boat once, and obviously a big part of this is you guys following me on that adventure of getting the sailboat ready to go in for the spring and getting the sailboat ready to go on this trip. And it's Wednesday, and I intended to go out today and actually work on removing a hatch. And I didn't get out there today, because basically I had a bunch of client projects that need to be done really, really soon. And so I started to think, well, what am I actually going to share this? What am I going to do this week? And this is like the big thing with all of this. A big part of this, and what I want to bring to you guys and everyone who's watching this, is that what you do for work doesn't necessarily have to be what you do for life. And so as I was sitting here today in my apartment, I realized, well, actually, this is all just kind of part of it. Because before you can go to those exotic places and work on your boat, first, you have to figure out how to make it possible. We're going to dive into this. I'm going to show you exactly how much the boat is costing me. So let's get started. Whenever you do something, whenever you're organizing something, whether it's you're organizing a group, you're organizing a business, you're trying to keep finances together, it really helps to have some kind of idea for how much that's going to cost. And to give you an idea of everything that's about to happen as far as with the sailboat, I want to show you what I use to really plan things out and make ideas and concepts possible. One of the big tools I use, but it's called Smartsheets, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to log into my Smartsheets account. For those of you who don't know, what I do to make a living is a bunch of freelance work for clients, doing website work, doing marketing work, Google AdWords, social media, which is awesome. And it's been a really incredible experience, and I'm so grateful to be working with such incredible clients. I have my Smartsheets up. I'll just show you. I have all my business information, all of these really important things that help you make important decisions. Among them, I have my personal accounts, and among those, I have my boat savings plan, and I have my cost estimates for how much each project is going to take. And this is something that I've been working on for probably a couple months to really get right and really nail down, so that by the time August comes and I'm looking at breaking my lease, the boat is ready, the boat is comfortable, and the boat is safe. What we have here is basically an 8-month budget for the sailboat, and what it gives me is a rough idea for how much this entire thing is going to cost me. So we have my personal income. Well, then I have my general living expenses, and one of the reasons I like this software program is because you can actually expand out these different columns to kind of see what's in them. That $2,049.44 is not a ballpark. It is like me going through all of my costs of living and breaking it down based on past spending patterns and areas where I'm going to cut spending. You can see these these sections that are green here. That I put green there because good, yay, you're not spending money there. So for March, the boat's not in the water. I'm not going to be spending money on diesel. Boat insurance I paid in full last year, so that's not going to be an expense until I have to start paying it again in April, and I'm not going to be paying it in full this coming year, just because looking back on it, it saved me $20 and cost me $792 up front. So I mean, doing it up front wasn't a big benefit. I wouldn't recommend doing that. And to show you a difference, let me show you this. Again, people think owning a sailboat's super expensive. It cost me $66 a month to insure my sailboat. A full sailboat, 27 feet. It's over 6,000 pounds. It cost me $177.94 to insure my 2008 beat-up Toyota Camry. That's insane. Here I have my Chase Sapphire card. So my Chase Sapphire card, actually it's not, this is going to be a little bit less. My balance statement is going to be a lot less than $500 next month. I just put that on, again, being conservative. I want to plan to have to pay more than I actually have to, because you never know what could happen. But I also have another solution for if you have to put money on a credit card. I have another solution for that, which I'll get into later. There you have it, general living expenses. And above that, of course, I have $100 for savings. It's good, even if you have a lot of expenses, to try and put something away each month. And do that first, before any of your other expenses come out. The next project here is rebedding that forward hatch, which I talked a little bit about just a couple minutes ago. Buying all the caulk, that's all broken down. Cutlass bearing replacement, I actually am going to be able to save a little bit of money there. Usually it would cost a lot more than $300, but I met someone in a boatyard who made like a custom prop pulling machine that can do it for a lot cheaper. And then the actual cutlass bearing, which is this little bearing that goes around the prop shaft, it's $54.99. That can be bought from a website called Catalina Direct, which supplies all of the parts for these Catalina sailboats. The anti-fouling paint and then repair and bottom repair is just to some stress cracks I need to repair around the keel, which I can't really do until it starts to get warmer, because it needs to be above 50 degrees to work with epoxy. Rebedding and recaulking the rig, $160. Basically, it's $180, or not $180. It's $80 to take the mast up, $80 to take the mast down. And I've already bought some caulk to do other projects, so I won't need to go and get more So I haven't included anything more than that, and just redoing and fixing up the rig. And you can also see here that some of that these expenses start to move over into other months, and how that works. Then we can look at the deck hardware. So I need to buy a bunch of different epoxy fillers, hardeners, and the actual resin itself to be able to really go back and as fiberglass oxidizes and gets older, it can kind of start to get brittle and crumbly, and things like, actually this screw right here is from the Sailboat, and when we were sailing one day, it just popped out. I have to go back in and fill the hole that this screw initially went into with epoxy and filler. You have routine things that have to be done every year, and this is just compounding and waxing the boat. You don't have to compound the boat every year. I'm going to do it this year because the deck is heavily oxidized. And then we have the engine maintenance right here. Oil filter, it needs new oil filter really badly. New fuel filter, needs new fuel filter really badly. Impeller, I doubt the impeller's ever been replaced on this boat. It needs to be totally replaced. An impeller is a rubber propeller that's inside the engine, and it helps. It's a water pump. It pumps water to cool the engine, and what can happen is, if once that rubber starts to get old and it starts to rot, the parts of the propeller, if you will, it's not quite a propeller, it's a little bit different, but that can actually break, those parts can break off and go into the engine, and then you'll just get an overheat in the engine that you can't get rid of. A vacuum oil fluid extractor. So like really, when you're doing using the engine a lot on a boat, you need to change the oil a lot more than you think you do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just buy a fluid extractor for basically $40, $39.98, and this will allow me to change the oil myself without having to pay a yard $130 to come in and do it. It's totally worth it. Okay, so now we have the boat slip, and I keep my boat in the summer at South Haven, and it's about 45 minutes away from Kalamazoo on the west coast of Michigan. I don't need to be paying this off in 3 months, but I want to, because how a credit card works, and I'm putting this on a credit card, I'm not paying it all at once, is basically, and a lot of people don't know this, you don't have to pay the entire balance on your credit card every month, but you do have to pay your statement balance on your credit card every month. So that is the money you've put on your card that's due in 30 days. So if you buy if you buy ice cream on February 25th, it's not going to be due at the end of the month. It's going to be due in the next 30 days. So that's the difference between your statement balance and your regular balance. But with the boat slip, you have to pay for it all at once. And I didn't want to take money out of my savings to do that, so it is going to be going on what I call my boat credit card. And the Chase Sapphire card, the interest on that card is 16%. That's a lot. When I go to do major expenses for the boat that I don't want to pay for out of my savings or all at once, I put it on a credit card, and this credit card has a 2% interest rate, which is nothing, and it's a lot better. So, but I still want to get it off there, so I'm not paying more than I have to. So from April until June, I'll be paying off $533 a month in marina fees. And that's on what I call my boat visa, which is the 2% visa. Underneath that, I have the Genoa is thrashed, so I have to get a new Genoa. What I have right now is 150%. To get a new 150% Genoa is a lot more expensive than getting a 135% Genoa. So that's what I'm going to be getting. This company has something called Sail Pay, where you can pay out over time with no additional interest for that sale, and that's going to be $228.75 a month for the new Genoa. And it is a sailboat, so that's pretty important. The next thing on here, we have a marine AGM battery. We're really going to be boosting up the electronics in the sailboat. I love working with clients. I get to sit here every single day and solve people's problems, and they're real problems that need to be solved. I feel so lucky. And in order to keep doing that while I'm traveling, I need really good electronics, and I need to be able to stay connected with my clients, because that's my number one priority. 100%. They need anything, I need to be able to help them. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing my job. So I need good electronics so I can charge my things like my computer and I can stay connected with them. I'm going to get one new battery this coming year and then use the 2 batteries I already have as a starting battery and just kind of back up. And that expense will come up in April. And I'm doing it a little bit earlier than maybe I need to because the engine's having a little bit of trouble turning over. And I think having a nice fresh battery in there is really going to help it out. Another thing I talk about too is that this is a Catalina 27. It's a coastal cruiser. It's not meant to live on. It doesn't have any luxury items. It does have a hot water heater, which is cool. But it really, to actually live on something long term, you need some comfort aspects. Marine air conditioning is really expensive, and it also involves putting a hole in the bottom of your boat. The more holes you have, the more likely you are to run into some kind of trouble, spring a leak. It's one more thing you got to maintain and caulk and think about. So the alternative I'm probably going to go with is this thing called Zero Breeze. Zero Breeze is the world's first portable air conditioner. It actually has a battery that comes with it that lasts 5 hours, meaning that while the engine's on and we have the alternator charging the batteries in the inverter, we can be charging the Zero Breeze, but when we're sailing, we can actually be using air conditioning with a self-contained, like deep cycle battery that will last 5 hours. Gel coat repair, I've got a color match the existing gel coat, so I need to get a fan deck of existing colors, need to get a flex mold, a mold which will match the non-skid on my gel coat. I need to buy some different kinds of gel coat. Gel coats are a lot different than paint. A gel coat is actually, it's more like a glue. It's really cool. We'll do a video on it as it comes time to actually do this. The other thing in here is an inverter. That purchase will be coming up in July. This inverter was recommended by a friend who's an electrical engineer. 1200 pure sine inverter. I budgeted $309.99 for a mattress topper for the forward berth, which is where I sleep. And I found actually an $80 option, which is this memory foam mattress topper that's made with bamboo charcoal to help keep down smells, which would be perfect for a boat. And so that's going to be way better than a $309. I don't know what I was thinking there. Do need to get an anchor upgrade. Currently I have a Danforth anchor in the boat, which is great for the Great Lakes and sand. It sets really quickly. I've been out on Lake Michigan in 3.5-foot waves bouncing up and down with that freaking Danforth, and it held the whole time for about 12 hours, which is amazing for a 14-pound anchor. It was holding a 27-foot, 6,000-pound boat, which is incredible to me. But for mud and grassy bottoms, I've looked at the Rockna, which everyone's saying is awesome. I'm not going to go with it because I've actually watched videos of these different anchors setting, like going in and hitting the bottom and like setting into the mud, the sand, the rocks, grass, whatever it is. And by far and away, the best performing anchor I've found after hours and hours of research is a Mantis anchor. I have here, I actually don't, a 35-pound anchor is actually bigger than I need for my boat, but you know, there's something about having a bigger anchor than you think you need. Icebox conversion. This is again going to go on the boat visa. By this time, I'll have finished off paying off my boat slip. And it's actually cheaper than getting something like a Dometic or one of those freezer portable ice boxes. It's cheaper to just convert the icebox I already have. Moving down from this is where it gets really interesting. So these are my moving expenses. And so these are like, this is how much it's going to cost for me to leave the apartment and how much it's going to cost over time. So I have things like on here, we have to move over a little bit. I have things on here like the cost of renting a truck. So then it's going to cost me around $30 a month to store my stuff in a storage unit. I need to invest in basically a marine Wi-Fi booster. This is a signal booster that I've done a lot of research on, and it boosts 4G and LTE through your local network like Verizon. But so this is where it gets exciting for me. If you look here, you can see that I haven't figured out how to pay for all this yet entirely. And you might say, well, how can you spend money on something you haven't figured out how to pay for? First of all, I have enough money to pay for this in my savings account. So I won't be spending anything more than I already have. Here's the really cool thing. Look at September. I go from being down from $546.63 in August to up $1,124 in September. That's because in September, my living expenses go up to look at these, go from $2,215.44 to $896. Now, in there you'll have budgeted marina fees because it's not like we're going to anchor out every night. But even if we spend every single night in a marina, it would still cost less than staying in a small one-bedroom apartment in Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is where these movements like van life, like boat life, long-term travel, this is where they come from. Because people think you have to have a ton of money to do them, but really, you have to have a ton of money to live where you are doing what you're doing. And sure, I could run into some issue in November that I can't anticipate, but that's life. There's risks, and life is not about jumping into something and saying YOLO. It's you live each and every other day, so you better think about tomorrow, and you better think about the next day and how you want to live then, and start making plans for it. And this is how you do it. It's with thought, process, and budgeting. And it doesn't happen overnight. And I hope by showing you this and showing you that, how little I'm betting on making, that, and by little, I mean, if I were to go out and get a big corporate job, I'd be making six grand a month, but I'm not, because I value time over money and freedom over money and flexibility of location over money. So many things are more important to me than money. At least, relationships, being able to spend time with people I care about, and but even with probably half the income of all my friends, I can still do this, and that's really, really cool. And I think what this can show you, hopefully, is that you can do it too. And it's not going to happen overnight, but if you ask yourself the most important question, which is, where do I want to be in the next month? Where do I want to be in the next 2 months? Where do I want to be in the next year? Where do I want to be in the next 2 years? You start working towards that, and when you go home, you make this, and then you start asking yourself, what do I really want my life to look like? What do I want it to be? That's all I have for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope this has been informative for you. I hope you've liked it. If you like this kind of content where you kind of get and really see the behind the scenes of everything that goes into planning a trip, planning an adventure, figuring out how to pay for things, figuring out how to make things possible, go ahead and give this a like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you here next week. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.